I love this intro so much, but when you look at it, does it make you think of an orange-haired guy reaping souls with a large-ass knife? Yeah, seems legit. Hell, not even the name makes that much sense. I mean, for crying out loud, the show is called Bleach. What does that have to do with the show? So Bleach came out in 2004 and was also the show I watched after I ghosted Naruto for the second time. And when I first watched it, I was hooked pretty quickly. The first arc had this Saturday morning cartoon feel to it, with Ichigo fighting a monster of the week every episode. But the second arc is where Bleach really found its own, where Ichigo and his friends had to save Rukia so they get transported to the Soul Society, and we get a plethora of new characters. My favorites being Hitsugaya, Byakuya, and the badass Kenpachi. But none could compare to the biggest plot twist of the arc and my all-time favorite character of the series, Aizen. They really had me fooled with this one. Now, unlike some people, I didn't think Gin was going to be the main villain, because the way he was planning just felt like he was working for someone bigger. But I didn't think the person he'd be working with would be the man who died a few episodes beforehand! But that's what made it such a good twist. And when he grabbed Ichigo's sword with one hand, took his glasses off and slicked back his hair, I was so looking forward to the next arc. But instead we get filler! Yeah, filler! Yeah, we get a filler arc! Yeah, come on, baby, yeah! And here's where we get to my biggest negative of this show. The amount of filler in this show was ridiculous! Out of all of the anime with filler, this is probably my second least favorite. And if you're wondering what my first is, oh, we'll get to that next week. And at first I wanted to skip the filler arcs, but some weird part of my brain was like, no, you have to suffer, my child. And I wouldn't have minded if the arcs were at least enjoyable, but every arc just felt so damn tedious to watch. Especially after we just had the best arc and plot twist of this damn show. I don't give a fuck about him! Give me Aizen! And also, I will say the one negative we got from getting all of these new characters is that it kinda threw Ichigo's friends in the background. They kinda just became, well, just that, Ichigo's friends and nothing more. Which is sad because they could have at least tried to make them stronger, but even when they do, they just become cannon fodder to make the new big bad enemy look stronger. But after we get through all that filler, we finally get to the third arc of the series, the Espada arc. And I actually like some of the Espada. Now, I didn't like Grimmjow as much as everyone else did, but I liked Ukiura. Yeah, I liked him. I liked the Espada number 3. I forgot her name though. I like Stark too. Yeah. That was the guy with the guns. Yeah, he definitely had guns. And yeah, I think that's it. And I will say, the fights between the Soul Reapers and the Espadas were done really well. But what I don't like is the beginning of the Espada arc, which is basically the Save Rukia arc, but not as good. Because one, well, like I said, we already had this arc before, so it just feels like a repeat. 2, we had time and episodes establishing Rukia's character and her relationship with Ichigo. So when she left and they had to rescue her, you were already attached to her character. So you wanted to see them rescue her. And 3, which is kind of the opposite of 2, they really didn't do that much for me to care about Orihime. And it's probably because she's in the same group that I brought up earlier. You remember them, right? The cannon fodder group. It's not that I have anything bad to say about Orihime, it's just I can't think of anything good to say. Oh, I'm quirky because I make weird food. No, you're not. You are just nasty. And here's another thing that pissed me off. While we're in the middle of the third biggest arc in the series thus far, they just thought it'd be fine and dandy to do some more filler arcs. Yeah, filler arcs, yeah. Welcome everyone, yeah. Come on, baby, come on, yeah. And it wouldn't have bothered me that much if it was at the end of the Espada arc, but this shit was in the middle of it. Why would you add filler in the middle of an arc that's still ongoing? That's like if you ate a sandwich and when you got to the middle of it, you just tasted ramen. Not the soft noodles, no. I mean a big block of uncooked ramen. And you're just wondering, how the hell did this get in my sandwich? Now, I will say that the end of the Espada arc was phenomenal, where we have Aizen fighting all the captains and just obliterating them one by one. And then the final battle between Ichigo and Aizen was amazing, where Aizen gets sealed away by Urahara and then Ichigo loses his powers. That was a great finale. And then the show kept going. Like, if I knew the series was gonna end with Ichigo just getting his powers back, then it should have just ended with him beating Aizen. And if some way, somehow they end up finishing the anime to where the manga ends, I don't even know if I'd want it, considering how low of a dip the manga went. But ending aside, Bleach gave us some amazing fight scenes, one of my all-time favorite villains, and to this day, I still don't know why they call the show Bleach. So with all that said, my final verdict for Bleach is the silver seal of approval.